Here are 3 things you're not doing to leverage a relocation specialist to land lucrative contracts, and here is how to fix it. Relocation specialists in the midterm rental insurance industry are the avatar we're going for. We're not necessarily going for the family. We're going for the people who are going to be working on behalf of the family, which means that if you know anything about this space, is when a tree falls on a home or a pipe bursts and there's water damage and a family is displaced, a relocation specialist from the relocation agency that's working on behalf of the insurance company is looking for a home to relocate that family. Now, while the family has an option to find a home for themselves, the relocation specialists are the ones who are doing the boots on the ground work to find a home. And so what you want to do in order to maximize the relationship, in order to work with them, you want to go where they're hanging out. And where they're hanging out is where they're searching. And where they're searching is very particular and not exactly where you might think it is or where you might think it is. Simply being on Furnished Finder isn't enough. You want to make sure, number one, is that you go into the databases that these companies have. The relocation agencies all have databases. A database is a simple term for saying you go to the website, you enter your property. Typically, you go into the header or the footer, and there's an area where you can enter your properties. You want to make sure you do that periodically because a lot of the relocation specialists will look into their database first. Why? You might ask. Well, it's because they know that they're going to experience less friction with trying to sell someone to have a family stay for 3 months with dogs, because they know, again, dogs or cats, just using as an example, because they know that those individuals who have entered their property in their database have raised their hands and say, we understand how you like to work and we are willing to work with you as either a homeowner, as a manager, as a co-host, whatever it is that you're doing. So it's really important that you're hanging out where they go and look first. Now, there's a caveat to that because they don't all go there first. A majority of them go to their database, but it's not limited to them also going on the second source, which is, if you're currently getting value from watching this video, you'll want to make sure you take a second and click below to grab the midterm rental insurance blueprint to help accelerate your process in being able to land these midterm rental insurance contracts with respect to your marketplace. Make sure you click the button below and grab it and continue on with the gems in this video. The Zillow, one of the most frequent websites online, but typically people associate Zillow with looking to buy a home. There is Zillow Rental Manager that also feeds the area of where you look for rentals, and that is where they hang out. You want to call them out. You want to let them know that, hey, we work with relocation specialists, we work with insurance agencies, we work with families who are displaced, who are looking to be relocated. This is what we do. So you want to make sure you call that out. That's so number one, you want to be in their database, which is AKA their website. There's a bunch of relocation websites like ALE Solutions, Alacrity, right? Temporary Housing Directory, CRS Temporary Housing. I mean, there's a bunch of them online where you can just look for relocation agencies near me. They relocate essentially families. You want to be on their websites, enter your properties periodically. Number two, you want to be on the Zillow Rental Manager, where you can list your property. If you own it, if you manage it, if you co-host it, you want to make sure you list it there and put the terms for a lucrative monthly rate as well that's above the fair market value, especially if you have a furnished accommodation, because that is how the marketplace is right now. You can charge more for having a furnished accommodation and providing temporary housing. And the number three, this is one thing that most people are not doing at all. It's not just sitting and putting property in databases and Zillow and waiting for them. It's also periodically reaching out to them via email. And there's a very specific way to do that. You want to make sure you're reaching out with the name in the subject line of over the address of the property, the city, the location, and how many bedrooms, etc. Because these relocation specialists at one point will do a search when they're looking in a specific area in their inbox. You want to make sure yours is there several times, and you want to make sure you also keep them top of mind, and you want to make sure this is very important, and most people have a problem with this. Just because they're not responding to your emails, which can have, property of the picture, the address, the location, you letting them know it's available, even when it's not available. It's just about staying top of mind. The importance is that you're emailing them. Just because they don't reply does not mean they don't see it. Think about it. It's as if you were responding to all this email marketing and saying, thanks for sending these, receives, thank you. Marketing works. Email marketing works, but don't expect them to respond to you. And if they don't think that that's not working, because I've spoken to many of them who have said, yep, I saw your email. Thank you for sending that. Well, I do get your emails often, which means I'm staying top of mind, which is marketing 101. If they don't know you, they cannot follow you, and they certainly won't. So with that said, you now have the 3 tools, the 3 ways that you can work with relocation specialists, stay top of mind and be in front of them and be where they hang out so that you can land these lucrative contracts for your mid-term rental. If you get value from this video, make sure you check out how to get in front of relocation specialists in your marketplace.